Okay, we're good. So hey, this is Gab Pangalangan for DojoDrifter.com here with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So how have you been, man? How did you become the lucky guy who was sent halfway across the world here to the Philippines?
I think it all had to do with my last performance in the UFC. The win against Jake Ellenberger and then Johnny Hendricks, the number 2 ranked guy, former welterweight champion. So, a lot of people are talking right now, and hopefully, it's good things, and hopefully we get a title shot here pretty soon. I've always wanted to come to Asia, of course, the Philippines, and you guys are awesome. Love it. The fans are great. The weather is wonderful. And so we'll have some really cool surprises for everybody here this week. Open workouts, more interviews and things like that. So
awesome. And then you mentioned fighting here in the Philippines. So let me throw this suggestion out there. Robbie Lawler is actually half Filipino. So
I did not know that.
That would make a great fight, man.
Agreed.
Against Phil and Robbie Lawler here in Manila. And then, so what do you think about that fight stylistically? How do you think you match up?
Well, he's the type of guy that stands there in front of you and likes to duke it out. And to be honest, I love guys who fight like that. With my style, I use my movement. I try and frustrate my opponent, make him swing and miss, and then I counter. That's something I've always done ever since I was very young. And I definitely feel confident in winning that fight if it ever happens. When it happens.
When it happens. That's right. It's going to happen, guys.
Exactly.
Let's talk about another guy. You mentioned style. We mentioned him earlier, Conor McGregor. You have similar styles, but in one area that you differ is how you carry yourself in front of the camera. Conor likes to talk a lot of trash. You, on the other hand, are very reserved, respectful to your opponent. Does it ever cross your mind, hey, maybe I should go the Conor route? Talk more trash to hype the fight?
That's just not who I am. I know Conor McGregor. He's definitely got to get the gab, and he makes it work, man. And and he's very good at hyping the fight up and making it. I mean, look at him. He's one of the most popular guys in the UFC in the world right now. And that's just not who I am. I do my talking in the cage, and. And if I ever started now, people would just be like, "Listen, man, what are you doing? This is not you." I would look like a fool. But he makes it work, man. That's who he is. The fans love people, to cheer for people who they want to win, and they got their people they hate. I'm not saying they hate him or anything, but it's definitely a show, and he knows how to put one on.
Okay, and then something Conor has said before is that he'd like to challenge in welterweight, challenge Robbie Lawler maybe. Do you think he'd last at welterweight?
He walks around fairly heavy. I understand he walks around about 180 pounds. He's not the tallest guy. Wouldn't be the tallest guy in the division, but I mean, look at the guys that I've faced so far in the welterweight division. They're 5'9". Jake Ellenberger, Johnny Hendricks, some of the best guys in the division. So I feel that he would do very well in the division. It's crazy that he was fighting at 145. Now he's going to 155. Of course, he's got an obstacle he's got to go against now, and we'll see how well he does. If he does well, we'll see if he goes up to 170.
All right, that would be very interesting. We also talked about how close you are to your family. You grew up in a fighting household. Your dad fought professionally. Your brother fights. Your sister as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, my sister Lindsay. She's the oldest. She's 34. She fought before me in kickboxing. I actually married my brother-in-law Carlos Machado, and they have 4 kids together. They all start at the age of 3. So it's a fighter family, man.
What is it like? How important is that in your upbringing as a fighter, as a person, to have that strong support group?
Oh, it's great, especially when after my loss against Matt Brown, which is one of the reasons why, I came back stronger than ever, because I have a family, a good support system to keep me focused on my goals, and that being my first loss, it definitely hurt me, and I wouldn't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for them having my back. Not just a good family, but my teammates, I considered them family as well. My coaches, they were all there to bring me back up, to keep me focused on what my goals are. And to me, that's very important.
You mentioned your teammates. It's well documented. You were the training partner of George St. Pierre, training with Chris Weidman. George has even gone so far as to say that you're the best striker he's ever seen. How is it training with these guys, and how much of an influence have they had on you?
Oh, huge. And actually training with George St. Pierre is one of the reasons. He inspired me to actually switch to MMA. Before I was even MMA, I was doing kickboxing, and he would bring me in for his camps, and so I had to modify some things with my stance and my movement to be a better sparring partner for him. And learning from these guys, George St. Pierre, my brother Chris Weidman has taught me, their work ethic, man. They train as hard as they can. They stay focused. They know how to separate their training life with their family, which I think is awesome. And they make no excuses, which is why they were champions. When they're feeling down or when their body's aching and their joints are hurting, they're still in the gym training. Of course they train very smart, which I think is another reason why they're very successful. Go to some gyms and they go out there and they beat the crap out of each other. And their careers don't last very long. These guys, they train smart, they train hard, and they also have a good support system as well.
All right. On an ending note, do you have a parting message for your Filipino fans?
Just want all the Filipino fans know that hopefully one day that I'll be out fighting the UFC. Hopefully here in the future. But until then, follow the UFC. And for those of you that want to train and want to fight, find a good gym. And hopefully we'll see some more Filipino fighters in the UFC.
Awesome. So here's to that, and we look forward to your open workout this week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.